is there a whole lot of rebels. See, traditionally Maharashtra always had lots of rebels. BJP's arrival in Maharashtra and gaining foothold and then subsequent developments, they kind of pulverized the politics there.
Sharad Pawar is another interesting factor. He's still the master blaster this election season.
Sharad Pawar remains a powerful force. I think he'll still play a hand or two before we can say that he's going to hand over to the next generation.
Hello and welcome to this another episode of Talking Sense with Srini. I'm Srinivasan and we are going to discuss about the Maharashtra elections today. This time it's going to be a little different with Sena taking on Sena and Pawar taking on Mr. Pawar. Who has got the larger leverage? Joining me is Mr. Srinivasan, our editor-in-chief. So thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, let me begin with what's your general perspective on the Maharashtra elections? Whom do you think has got the edge this election season?
Well, that's a very tough one. I mean, the first ball you're bowling is a bouncer. Look, it's not so easy this time to say anything about Maharashtra. I'm saying this because it's become such a mess. There are so many parties now. There are two basically big formations. One is MVA, the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi, and the other one is Maha, which is a BJP combination. So there are two combinations now. Within that two combinations, there are three branches each, subsidiaries. There is this MVA Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, then there is Congress Party, and there is Sharad Pawar's NCP. And then on the other side, you have the other Shiv Sena, which broke away from the main Shiv Sena, Shinde, who's running the government right now. And you have Ajit Pawar's NCP, and of course you have BJP. Now there are six different contestants, two sides. And it's not as if there is homogeneity within MVA or within, within Aghadi or within Mahayuti. Then to add to this confusion further, is there a whole lot of rebels. See, traditionally Maharashtra always had lots of rebels. Probably everybody want to contest elections there. But now it's become a bigger mess. In fact, if you saw the headlines which hit yesterday's newspaper and day before, it's all about how the two, formations are going to handle these guys. That was a big story. That's one. But then this is what we are seeing currently. But look at the, if you slightly rewind back, what happened from 2019 onwards, the scenario is still not very clear. What happened in 2019? There was this BJP Shiv Sena government, which October 2019, they came to power, but then a split happened. Shiv Sena moved out. It instead formed an alliance with unthinkable Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray. That time it was not Uddhav Thackeray. Shiv Sena went and then formed an alliance with Congress Party. You know, the party which they have been fighting all their life. And then Sharad Pawar. So it was a very different combination. And a year later, 2 years later, what happened? There was a split in that. A section of Shiv Sainiks, suddenly you found sitting somewhere, I think it was Assam this time. And then you found that a new government has been formed with the help of BJP, where Shinde became chief minister. Now, one thought that the split is over now. It wasn't. A year later, another split happened, this time in NCP. Everybody thought Sharad Pawar will hold his party together. But Ajit Pawar, who has a lot of ambitions, he broke away. And then now there are three factions here and there are opposing three factions here. And there are a whole lot of other people who want to contest. That's the scenario right now. So in this scenario, it is very tough to say what will happen in these elections. The only thing I can very decisively say that Congress and BJP, these two guys will be the two poles. The rest of them, who's going to be where, nobody knows.
The BJP has been able to do pretty well in the most recent Haryana elections, right? I mean, the Modi magic has worked out tremendously well. Do you think that can actually be extended to the Maharashtra elections as well?
Well, I don't know how much of Modi magic this time they said in Haryana. Haryana was a very completely unexpected win. The one biggest factor, it was said, was that there was a anti-Jat consolidation. But Maharashtra is not the same thing. Maharashtra is split into, you can politically split into six, regions. Each region has a different character. And it can't be one Haryana. There are several Haryanas there. And it is not as if the Marathwadas are uniformly spread across the state. They have pockets of influence in Marathwada, Western Maharashtra, some regions, but not all over. So the same kind of principle may not apply here. But yes, BJP, which kind of seemed slightly uneasy after the 2024 results, where it didn't get anywhere near majority on their own, which they expected. It was slightly down and out, and but Haryana gave them a zing. It said that, of course, it happened primarily because the RSS cadres are back in action, whereas in UP and other places they were not very interested. So that's also one important reason. The cadres have been enthused. BJP cadres are highly enthusiastic. So therefore, it was expected that it will have a spiraling effect in Maharashtra elections as well. And that's why this becomes a very keen election between these two formations.
Experts on the ground say Shinde government's Ladki Bahin Yojana is attracting voter sentiment in Maharashtra and could actually water down the anti-incumbency in the state. The same also had helped the BJP, win rich dividends in Madhya Pradesh as well. Do you see this as an X factor this election season?
Yeah, it could be. See, if you remember in Maharashtra 2009, again, when UPA 2, again came with a majority and a workable majority with the help of other allies. It happened primarily because they did very well in Maharashtra. And that time they had launched this loan write-off scheme, and it really worked. I traveled those days to some of the regions in Marathwada and Western Maharashtra, and I discovered that it really had a good impact. So schemes in general work very well in Indian situations. See, though it is called Revadi, it's called given various names, but then people don't have a social net because when they reach at the end of their this thing, kind of their limits, they look forward to some aid from the government. And this particular scheme, which they are saying for women, has good chance of working because it has worked in, as you correctly said, in Madhya Pradesh, Ladli Behna scheme. And then it similarly worked in Karnataka. Even Tamil Nadu implemented by doing a direct cash transfer. And all the politicians are understood very well that women voters earlier were not coming to polling booth to vote. I'm talking 2-3 decades ago. Now they are coming out in big numbers. They are really enthusiastic and they are more aware. And they're also better educated. So they know their rights and they are grabbing it, and which is a good development. And therefore, this particular scheme, I won't be surprised if it helps Shinde faction to get some extra votes.
So another important factor is the Maratha reservation there, right? So, the Maha Vikas Aghadi has been successful in painting the BJP as some kind of a, anti-Maratha party and so on. And, as the BJP tries to consolidate its OBC votes, do you think Maha Vikas Aghadi might actually have an edge with Maratha voters?
So it's a very interesting question. What happened 2 days before it the answer lies there in some ways. See, there's this leader called Manoj Jarange
Yeah.
Patil, and he suddenly announced on Sunday, he announces that his party is going to contest 25 seats. He even declares 15 seats or so. And then Monday, he suddenly withdraws. And then he says, look, I'm only fighting for Marathwada, their welfare,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to dilute this, and therefore I completely withdraw. Now, what are the implications of that? It's going to be very important because Marathas want more rights, and by not participating, which is a faction which will get better leg up because of this decision of Jarange, whether it will be MVA or it will be Mahayuti. As of now, it seems MVA may have an advantage because of that, because otherwise the votes of Marathwada, Maratha votes would have got divided because they have tall leaders like Sharad Pawar. Even Congress has lots of leaders in this region. Prithviraj Chauhan is there. There are a number of other leaders. Ashok Chavan was from there. So they have pockets of influence, both Congress and NCP, Sharad Pawar, and therefore withdrawal of MVA may help them.
I also want to get in a quick perspective from you on the coalition partners, right? I mean, it's very interesting. Again, the performance of Shinde Sena and Ajit Pawar's faction in the Lok Sabha elections raises significant questions about whether they could actually become more of a liability for the BJP than an asset, right? I mean, the BJP has been able to garner substantial vote in the Lok Sabha elections, but again, if you look at the alliance partners, I mean, that's a big question. What is your take? Do you see them contributing positively to the BJP's growth?
Look, one very important thing which is going to happen with these alliances, like I explained to you earlier, there are two formations. Within those formation, how they're going to work together on the ground is going to be extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the workers at the grassroots level are able to, at the booth level, whether they're able to work together is going to be a very significant question here. Because that is what will finally decide. And BJP RS is very good at that in managing ground level workers. But one must remember, Shiv Sena had traditional cadres. Of course, Shiv Sena has been a more an urban party around that Bombay region. But even Congress party, despite all its ills, has cadres there. So it's going to be very, very interesting how these cadres actually help each other, work together, transfer votes. That's going to be a very, very significant question. And you asked the question whether BJP is actually finding a kind of disadvantage. But
Absolutely.
BJP has tied up with these parties because of, it's not as if BJP has a wider appeal there,
Okay.
but it's not evenly spread, because in Maharashtra, each of these parties which I mentioned have their own pockets of influence. BJP is very good in Konkan, Congress is very good in Vidarbha, uh, Shiv Sena is very good. Both Shiv Senas are very good in Mumbai region, but it's not as if others do not have their own base. But then these are their citadels. So within that, so therefore, BJP requires these parties. It on its own, if it had, I think the thing which you need to remember is, if you wind back, actually Shiv Sena was a major partner when they first time allied together. When Bal Thackeray was alive,
Yeah.
Shiv Sena was a big, big brother. BJP was very small. BJP had hardly any presence in Maharashtra. It's over the years that they have turned the tables. And then they said the chief minister should be ours. That's where the split came. So the BJP has grown, but it still had to cover some ground. One thing has happened. BJP's arrival in Maharashtra and gaining foothold and then subsequent developments, they kind of pulverized the politics there, which has made Shiv Sena, I'm talking of
Bal
Bal
Thackeray's.
Thackeray stood. Actually, Maharashtra and specifically BJP was the, that's where all the Hindutva experiments were initially done. Bal Thackeray was the most vocal proponent of Hindutva. And then can you imagine his son switching over to the other side just for survival? So lots of things have happened there. But what will happen post this election, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said earlier, these two parties are the two poles, Congress and BJP, and they're going to be there. Others, how they're going to move is an interesting thing to watch.
Sharad Pawar is another interesting factor. He's still the master blaster this election season. I mean, with the split in the party and Supriya Sule's upcoming transition from the corner, I mean, it really feels like more of a make or break election for Mr. Pawar. How do you see it, sir?
Look, it's very much a Pawar affair even now. Sharad Pawar still has the upper hand. Ajit Pawar tried to take on Sharad Pawar in the parliament election. He fielded his wife against Supriya Sule. Supriya won hands down. And now actually his grandnephew is contesting, Sharad Pawar, who's actually Ajit Pawar's, I think, younger brother, or I don't know, elder brother. One of the brothers' son is contesting, which Sharad Pawar is supporting from his party. So the split in the family is wide open. I even read a headline that, for the first time, the two Pawars have held separate Diwali party post Diwali. So, which is a kind of a sign that it's very difficult to bridge the difference now. It's become too personal, perhaps. And even this morning, I read Sharad Pawar saying that I never split parties, a family. It's actually Ajit who had, gone. He says, I've never been taught this by my elders. So I feel that Sharad Pawar still got upper hand. He is actually a very wily player. In fact, if you look at 2024 elections, he got the cream of seats and therefore his strike rate was the best. He contested, his party contested 10, and out of that he got 8. So he really did very well. Sharad Pawar remains a powerful force. I think he'll still play a hand or two before we can say that he's going to hand over to the next generation.
Another interesting political narrative that's playing out in this election season is Maharashtra versus Gujarat. Is this Maharashtra of Shivaji, Shashu, Phule, Ambedkar, or is it Maharashtra of Shah, Modi, Adani? That's Uddhav Thackeray in one of his political campaigns. Isn't this Maharashtra getting poorer at the cost of Gujarat a kind of a fallacy there?
Well, I think this is identity politics which he's trying to raise. See, by doing Gujarat versus Maharashtra, and this is an old thing which has been happening in Maharashtra. So Maharashtra versus Gujarat is a thing, but now he's trying to raise it because why he's trying to play identity politics? Perhaps trying to say that, look, BJP has taken away the he's kind of striking on Marathi Asmita and taking all the investment to Gujarat. And so since both Adani's and Ambani both are from Gujarat, he's kind of trying to say that. But look, when it comes to business, these identities don't work, and I don't know how much this will work as an appeal for him in because end of the day, money will find its own own level. But there is a perception which is there that a lot of investments are going to Gujarat, and that can't be denied. And end of the day, it's a perception what really works in an election, and that's what I think Thackeray is trying to build.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir. It was interesting talking to you about the Maharashtra elections, and all that I miss is Vada Pav. Hope to have it soon.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.